Welcome back to What Arty Noobs for General Disturbance. This is the Hummel, the Tier 6 German SPG. This one's located on the southwest spawn of Karelia, and it's under the command of Major Nuisance. And yes, that's one of my alternate accounts. Well, as you may know, because I think many are doing it, I was doing the anniversary missions. And so I thought, right, okay, I just need to get enough damage under my belt. I decided to take the Hummel out for a spin because I thought I could get a quick, huge number of damage off just one mission in the Hummel. Notice the position I've actually chosen is behind the bunker, which I've got bushes to one side. I've got the bunker between me and the enemy, and I'm going to be firing into the area just north of the horseshoe. So I'm waiting for any sight of the enemy so I can actually get a shot into them. And the first enemy that turns up is a Type T-34. Well, my fellow player in the Gorilla, my fellow Arty player, managed to get some damage. I got 53 hit points and tracked him. Just waiting for somebody to finish him off. Marked him as target. Yes, he goes down to the P43 turret. So the first kill of the game goes to the P43 turret, and I feel fairly happy in where I'm located. Or am I? I think there's some cheating going on the enemy team. Why do I think so? Well, what happens next, I think. Now, you haven't seen it yet, but it will happen shortly. The M44 on the enemy team is using a cheat mod. He knows where I am, not from watching where my trace is coming from, because the mod's telling him precisely where I am. Okay, I've managed to get some splash damage on the Tiger P. Okay. Marked him as target, hoping that I can get the reload in, because he's basically camping behind that rock to stop himself from getting attacked on the horseshoe. Fire another round in on that spot, hoping to catch him again. Okay, we spot another enemy tanker, T-43. You hear a rumble in the background. And I've been hit by the M44. Now, I haven't been spotted. He may have been looking for Tracer. I can give him the benefit of that. Notice the impact point was actually behind me. He didn't actually get it square on. So I decided to change position, thinking, well, maybe he had his eyes open to try and do a bit of counter-battery. So I changed position and I moved to this spot behind this rock. Now, there are probably some enemy, if there are any enemy in the marsh, who might be able to spot me, but I haven't been spotted yet. The first shot I fire actually aimed at the Striv 74. And I've been hit by the M44 again. Now, there's no way that he knew exactly where I was. This time it was a little more accurate. The shell landed very close. But you notice how I changed position, and yet he still managed to target me. Well, watch what happens next, because I move well away from that area, and set up in a completely different spot, right over the other side of the cap area. There's absolutely no way that he will work out that I'm actually in this spot. I haven't been spotted. Okay, so I've moved over. I'm going for the Tiger P again. Okay, dialed in. Rounds out. Well, direct hit. And now notice that I pull back after firing, just in case that person is using a cheat mod. They'll hit the wrong spot. Okay, I'm still looking at these guys. Wait for it. Wait for it. I fire the round in at the KV-1, and you hear the rumble? And look, it hits the ground where I was located. So the mod's telling him I'm there when I wasn't there. He actually used the heat round as well from the M44 to try and get me, thinking, yes, he must be in the same spot because he fired at the KV-1. So I fire a quick snap there to try and get the KV-1. Didn't get it. I pulled back just a little. Now, you see the KV-1 still there. The M44 is still reloading. Got a 20-second reload now. And the The KV-1 goes down. Okay, so I'm moving away from that spot. Choosing another firing position, not knocking any trees down while I'm going. Gonna change my spot randomly to see if he's actually locating it. Alexa, stop. Okay, so I've changed position altogether. Fire around. Get a critical hit on the M44. Change position again. Now we're watching those spots that I was previously in. Just give you a better perspective. And it appears that he's stopped firing, and I think the reason he stopped firing now is that obviously he's actually rather busy because his team are losing very badly. They're losing by 4 tanks. Okay, Tiger P. Fully dialed in. He moves out of the way just after I fired, but at least I got some stun assist off that one and changed position again. I did knock the tree over this time. And you notice he's actually firing at our heavy tanks now, so that's why he's not paying attention to me. So yes, the M44 does appear to be using a cheat mod. Now I am going to report this to Wargaming because I've never seen such accuracy following a particular player around the map when he's not been spotted. You can't do that. If somebody's firing from position and also using a heat round, so they must have been absolutely certain according to the mod that I was there, and of course he couldn't see me at all. Okay, there's only the 2 Arty left and they're in the corner. I'm not going to get very much closer. I'll try, but I think the game's going to be over momentarily. Well, the M44 has just died. And that's it. The issue 122A is gone, so the game is over. Here's the end of battle results, and that was only a 3rd class tank of a major nuisance in the Hummel on Karelia. I managed to get a bruiser medal for getting at least 5 critical hits. In fact, I got 9. My win rate was very poor indeed, 476. We'll put that down to the fact that I was having to change position quite a lot during the game. Anyway, if we look at team score, we can see I didn't score very well in that game. Only 356 hit points of damage, no kills, and only 514 XP. But what's of interest is the player who was actually, I believe, cheating. The M44 player on the enemy team, who actually had quite a high win rate. Now, that's going to be relevant when you see the stats, when I show you his stats very shortly. So I'll just go to the detail on my game. I fired 10 shots, got 1 direct hit on the enemy, no penetrations, 9 splash, damage of 356, 2 hits by way of splash damage received from the enemy Arty. In fact, actually, it was only the fact that I pulled back behind that rock on the 3rd attempt that he tried to counter-battery me that he missed out on getting any damage because he used a heat round. 5 enemy vehicles were damaged, none were killed, 427 hit points of damage assist, and 293 of stun assist off 9 stuns. Now, I did earn a profit for the game, 33,070 credits, and I got some XP, 4,240. But what's interesting is this player Concuris. So let's have a quick look at his stats. Now, Concuris, and I've looked up on What Labs to see exactly what he's got. He's only got a win rate of 1,039 and a fairly low win rate, 47.96. That's his overall scores. And if we look down the list, he's only recently been playing the M44, the M12, and the Bishop, but he does actually own the M41 HMC as well. We can see that he's only played 25 games in an SPG. In fact, we can see overall that he's actually, if I can see, where is it, the total number of games? Total number of battles is only 2,377. And he's been playing over the past 24 hours, 43 games. So that seems to be about his average as he's playing it out or thereabouts. So he's a relatively new player, you might say. And his stats, well, he does have a number of premium tanks in the game. In fact, actually, you can see that he's got all the way to the FB4005 on the British tank destroyer line. So he obviously likes the British line because, after all, he's managed to get up to tier 10. But if you look at the stats, you can see his win rate when it comes to Arty play is only 264, which shows he's actually very poor at an Arty player. And when it comes to win rate, only 36 out of that. It's very, very poor indeed in terms of, he doesn't get much in the way of wins. I think that may be down to the fact that he's not very good. If we look at damage, we can see his average damage is only 339. And yes, he's slowly accumulating his win rate, and his win rate is fluctuating. But it's interesting when you look at the overall figures, because I actually dialed in to see exactly what he's got in the way of SPG. We can see he's played 15 games in the M41. That's the most played Arty that he's got. And he's got a 40% win rate in it. Not very good indeed. His M44, he's only played 6 games in it, and 2 in the last 24 hours. And of course, one of those was the one where he cheated. In the Bishop, he's only played 3 games, and in the M12, he's only played 1. I suspect that he's actually free XPing his way through to get the M12, and he's probably done the same with the M44. He hasn't learned the skills to play Arty properly, but that's why I think he is cheating, because he is obviously trying to work out, or using a mod to actually work out where the enemy Arty is and then counter-batterying them. And that is how he is trying to win the game. We've seen a lot of counter-battery from on the NA server recently, and it could be there is a new mod which actually works out precisely where the traces are coming from, displays them on the minimap, and shows the enemy Arty where you are. I couldn't think of any other reason why he was able to work out when I changed position twice, and he still managed to follow me and put rounds either next to me, or he actually planted a heat round exactly where I was only a minute or so before, or a few seconds before. And I pulled back deliberately just to see if he would actually hit the exact spot that I was firing from. It was a bit dangerous, but of course there was a rock next to me, so I knew that if he did target the rock, then he was going to have a bit of difficulty getting at me behind the rock. So that's why I tried it that way. I thought that he would fire directly for the position indicated on his map, on his mini-map, by the cheat. So I'm going to report this to Wargaming. Obviously, I think that there's something very, very odd going on here. This could be an indication that somebody is actually using cheat mods, and that could be an explanation as to why counter-battery fire has gone up dramatically on other servers. So hopefully Wargaming will look into it and see if this guy was getting any information that we weren't getting, or that there's any indication that a mod is in use which shouldn't be in use. Okay, thanks very much for watching.